some Pharisees and some teachers of the law who had come down from Jerusalem stood round Jesus and saw some of his disciples eating food with unclean, that is, ceremonially unwashed hands. The Pharisees and all the Jews, they do not eat unless they give their hands a ceremonial washing. When they come from the marketplace, they do not eat unless they wash, and they observe many other traditions, such as the washing of cups, pitchers, and kettles. So the Pharisees and the teachers of the law asked Jesus, "Why don't your disciples live according to the traditions of the elders instead of eating their food with unclean hands?" He replied, "Isaiah was right when he prophesied about you hypocrites. As it is written, the people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. They worship me in vain. Their teachings are but rules taught by men. You have let go of the commands of God and are holding on to the traditions of men." And he said to them, "You have a fine way of setting aside the commands of God in order to observe your own traditions. For Moses said, 'Honor your father and mother, and if anyone curses his father or mother, he must be put to death.' But you say, if a man says to his father or mother, 'Whatever help you might otherwise receive from me is korban.' Korban is a gift devoted to God. Then you no longer let him do anything for his father or mother. Thus you nullify the word of God by your traditions that you've handed down. And you do many things like this." Then he called the crowd to him and said, "Listen to me, everyone, understand this. Nothing outside of a man can make him unclean by going into him. Rather, it is what comes out of a man that makes him unclean." When he left the crowd, entered the house, his disciples asked Jesus about this parable. "Are you so dull?" he asked. "Don't you see that nothing that enters a man from the outside can make him unclean by going into him? For it doesn't go into his heart, but into his stomach, then out his body." In saying this, Jesus declared all foods clean. He went on, "It is what comes out of a man that makes him unclean, for from within, out of men's hearts come evil thoughts, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, lewdness, envy, slander, arrogance, and folly. All of these evils come from inside and make a man unclean." Jesus left that place and he went to the vicinity of Tyre. He entered a house and he did not want anyone to know it, yet he could not keep his presence secret. In fact, as soon as she heard about him, a woman whose little daughter was possessed by an evil spirit came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, born in Syrian Phoenicia, and she begged Jesus to drive the demon out of her daughter. "First, let the children eat all they want," he told her. "For it is not right to take the children's bread and give it to their dogs." "Yes, Lord, but even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs." Then he told her, "For such a reply, you may go. The demon has left your daughter." The woman left, found her child lying on the bed, and the demon gone. Jesus left the vicinity of Tyre, went through Sidon, down to the Sea of Galilee, into the region of the Decapolis. There some people brought a man who was deaf and could hardly talk, and they begged Jesus to place his hand on the man. After he took him aside away from the crowd, Jesus put his fingers in the man's ears. Then he spit and he touched the man's tongue. He looked up to heaven and with a deep sigh said to him, "Ephphatha," which means be opened. At this, the man's ears were open, his tongue loosened, and he began to speak plainly. Jesus commanded them not to tell anyone. The more he did so, the more they kept talking about it. People were overwhelmed with amazement. "He has done everything well," they said. "He even makes the deaf hear and the mute speak."